Hello, welcome to Crossfire, the show that dives into the heart of global conflicts, where nations collide, alliances shift, and lives hang in the balance. On tonight's show, we tell you how Beijing's ambitious plan to build the world's largest dam on the Brahmaputra River could trigger a water war between India and China. Also on the show, we tell you how the chilly winters in Gaza are claiming the lives of infants as Israel continues its military onslaught. Stay tuned as we break down these critical developments and explore their impact on the future of global power and security. China's plan to build the world's largest dam on the Brahmaputra River in Tibet is raising alarms in India. Beijing claims the project is for energy needs, but experts fear it could disrupt water flows to millions downstream, sparking a potential water crisis. With tensions already high over the last 4 years over territorial disputes, this ambitious dam project could threaten an already fragile relationship. Could this be the start of a new conflict, one fought over water? Our next report decodes this fear.
Tensions are rising between China and India over a new and ambitious dam project on the Brahmaputra River. Beijing is defending its controversial plan to build the world's largest dam in Tibet, a move that could have far-reaching implications for water security in the region. As the project ramps up, experts warn that the dam could trigger a water war between the two neighboring giants. But China insists its plans will not harm downstream countries, including India. So, what's behind this high-stakes standoff, and why are experts concerned? The Brahmaputra River, one of Asia's major water sources, flows through Tibet before crossing into India and Bangladesh. But now, China's ambitious dam-building project in Tibet has put it in the spotlight. The proposed dam would be the largest in the world, raising concerns about its impact on the water supply for millions of people downstream, particularly in India. The $137 billion project is being constructed in the ecologically fragile Himalayan region, located along a tectonic plate boundary. The dam is to be built at a huge gorge in the Himalayan reaches, where the Brahmaputra River makes a huge U-turn to flow into India's Arunachal Pradesh and then to Bangladesh. China has defended the project, arguing that the dam will serve domestic energy needs and will not interfere with the water flow to its neighbors. But that claim has done little to ease fears in India. Experts worry that it could drastically reduce the river's water flow, impacting agriculture, power generation, and the livelihoods of millions. The Brahmaputra provides vital water resources for India's northeastern states. Experts fear that China's control over the river could allow it to use water as leverage in geopolitical disputes. With India and China already locked in territorial tensions along their border, the dam adds another layer to an already fragile relationship. While both countries have worked together in the past on water-sharing protocols, China's growing influence over the river has sparked fears of future disputes. If the dam significantly alters the water flow, India could face severe shortages, triggering both economic and environmental challenges. With both sides digging in, the question remains: can China and India resolve their growing water dispute before it spirals out of control? Or will this ambitious dam project trigger a new kind of conflict, one fought not over territory, but over water?
The youngest and most vulnerable in Gaza are fighting a battle they yet cannot comprehend. The youngest and most vulnerable in Gaza are fighting a battle they cannot comprehend. Battle against the bitter winter cold. Displaced by war, living in crumbling shelters and with no access to adequate heating, Gaza's babies are bearing the brunt of a worsening humanitarian crisis. Tragically, a fifth infant has succumbed to hypothermia, a silent killer that thrives in these dire conditions. But this isn't just about plummeting temperatures. It's about a system that is failing its most defenseless. Can the world do anything to stop this despair?
In Gaza, the harsh winter has become another cruel adversary for families already battling unimaginable hardships. Plummeting temperatures are taking a devastating toll on the most vulnerable, the newborns. Tragically, a fifth infant who was just 20 days old reportedly died of hypothermia this winter, highlighting the dire conditions gripping the region. For families sheltering in makeshift tents and bombed-out buildings, warmth is a luxury they cannot afford. Newborns, with their fragile immune systems, are paying the highest price. Hospitals across Gaza report a sharp rise in cases of hypothermia among infants. These hospitals, already stretched to breaking point by years of conflict and blockades, are overwhelmed. Fuel shortages mean generators can't run long enough to provide adequate heating. Meanwhile, international aid trickles in slowly, bottlenecked by border restrictions and red tape. Aid organizations are sounding the alarm. UNICEF and the Red Cross have called for urgent assistance, but the ongoing blockade continues to choke the flow of aid into the region. This winter, Gaza's struggle is not just against the cold. It's against a blockade that limits the flow of critical resources, against poverty that leaves families with no means to cope, and against a world that seems to turn a blind eye. As temperatures drop and the crisis deepens, Gaza's infants are caught in a tragedy that demands urgent attention. Will the world step up to prevent more senseless loss, or will these silent deaths continue to haunt one of the most vulnerable corners of the globe?
Russia is escalating its drone warfare, ramping up production of Iranian-designed Shahed drones at the Alabuga Special Economic Zone. With over 5,700 drones produced this year alone, including decoys to overwhelm Ukraine's defenses, the battle in the skies is intensifying. Backed by Chinese support, Russia's strategy is evolving. But how will Ukraine counter this tech-driven threat in the winter months ahead? Our next report tells you more.
Russia is ramping up its domestic production of Iranian-designed Shahed drones, setting the stage for an intensified winter strike campaign against Ukraine. This move isn't just a tactical decision, it's a statement of intent. The Alabuga Special Economic Zone in Tajikistan has emerged as the new nerve center of this operation. It produced over 5,700 Shahed drones between January and September this year, a production rate that has more than doubled since 2023. So, what's driving this massive ramp up? And how does it reshape the battlefield dynamics in Ukraine? Let's start with the numbers. Russia's Alabuga facility is expected to deliver 6,000 Shahed drones by September 2025. But these aren't just any drones. Low-cost decoy drones are now a key part of the arsenal. Since mid-2024, Russia has been producing these decoys to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses, with plans to manufacture 10,000 by the end of the year. The cost? About 10 times less than the armed Shahed drones, making them a cheap but effective tool in Russia's strategy. But for Ukraine, these decoys are a nightmare. Ukrainian air defense volunteers reveal that distinguishing between real drones and decoys on radar is nearly impossible. Out of 150 drones launched in a single night, only 20 to 30 are actual Shaheds. The rest are decoys designed to confuse and saturate air defenses. Now, let's talk about China's involvement. While Beijing denies directly supplying lethal weapons, reports suggest that over 30 Chinese companies have signed contracts with the Alabuga facility, from essential drone components to jamming equipments. These deals are worth over $96 million. This underscores Beijing's indirect role in bolstering Russia's drone program. The collaboration has raised eyebrows globally. with the US imposing sanctions on Chinese firm accused of supplying dual-use goods for military applications. But Ukraine isn't standing still. On December 28, a Storm Shadow missile strike targeted a Shahed manufacturing facility in Russia's Urals region, significantly reducing its capability to launch UAVs. And just days earlier, a warehouse at the Alabuga facility went up in flames, causing damages estimated at $16 million. As Ukraine intensifies its efforts to dismantle Russia's drone manufacturing capabilities, the question remains, how will this drone warfare reshape the course of this conflict? One thing is certain. This winter, the skies over Ukraine will tell the story of a war that's as much about technology as it is about resilience.
That's all we have for you in this edition of Crossfire. See you again tomorrow.